So it's been a positive year, a fast-paced year. I think a year with a lot of change also. I think we made some good steps forward in terms of creating that real player development environment, what we want to achieve, what we want to be. And if we do that right, then we see now with Ross McCausland within our first team contributing to a winning Rangers, was massively. We have 32 call-ups for international representations, under 15 upwards, but we're in a really exciting place and looking forward to what's next.
Obviously the B team moving into our Best v Best games programme. How would you reflect on the success of that at the halfway point of the season?
Yeah, we did a halfway really good and honest reflection on our Best v Best program, and we looked at different aspects, but in detail. And we looked at the physical outputs, we looked at the tactical outputs, because the main goal is closing the gap with the first team. So when that decision was on the table, okay, what do we want to do? We said, okay, what fits in our vision? And the vision is we want to be the most exciting learning environment in sport. So when we did our reflection and we looked at the tactical outputs, for example, we had much less final third entries, we had less possession, less chance creation. So that means a challenge in relation to the Lowland League, what we had the year before, is just much higher. The physical outputs are better numbers. So we're really closing the gap. So we're trying to look as objective as possible. And just the amount of challenge what we face is higher. And we had some really exciting games. Obviously we played Monaco in Ibrox, we had Manchester City, we had OHL Leuven, the first team. So just to take 3 games here, that's been massive for us in that player development environment, what we're trying to create, but also games coming. We're quite excited on what's next. On top of that, we're still developing players in our training time, the quality of training time, having good acquisition days where we can really go in depth in individual development, working on their individual targets, on their weapons, on their strengths, and the areas they need to improve on. So we have really good training time also allows us to go in depth in their development. So that combination between having the best possible games against the best possible sparring partners, combined with really good training time where we have loads of acquisition days where we go in depth in their individual development, I think that's exactly where we want to be. That's how we see that B team space, and that's how that needs to look like.
You also mentioned Ross McCausland in your previous answer. There must be huge pride in the academy, not only the way he's earned the opportunity at first team level, but also the way that he's established himself as a regular member of
Yes. And I remember my first interview as an academy director, and I said we want more than debuts only, and this is exactly how that looks like. We want academy players contributing to a winning Rangers. That's one of our main goals, and Ross is an excellent example of that. And I think the strength is that's a culture what we are creating. And we just see the outcomes. I think so far we had 100% squad involvement within our first team. That means that every game so far there was an academy player on the bench or on the pitch. It's just a massive number. But on the other hand, we want to have Ross McCausland scenarios where we have players contributing to a winning Rangers. We had over 20 appearances within our first team. So no, the debuts is something we're proud of and something what we celebrate. I think our games program allows us to control that. But on the back of that, there goes a good meeting structure in place. The football board, Brian Gilmore's role as a transition coach being around the first team allows us to have really clear communication and allows us to make sure that transition phase goes really smoothly and we do the right things at the right moment at the right time, because that's key when we speak about transitioning players from a B team into a first team.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of innovation throughout the academy too, with the Rangers Ready programme, the exchange programme that we enjoyed with RB Leipzig. How beneficial have those been? Innovation
is in the heart of everything what we do, and we actually speak about 3 things in our academy. We want to be really innovative, we want to do everything with a lot of care, and we want to be really bespoke. And I think if you don't name those 3 things, then you speak about the most exciting learning environment. That's exactly what we are standing for. And that innovative is something what we're constantly pushing with each other. Every layer of the academy is constantly pushing where can we innovate, what can we do better. And in hand comes that we're not afraid of making mistakes, because I'm not saying we will everything right from the first idea. Now the Leipzig idea is something, again, we ask ourselves all the time, what is the best possible environment to learn, what can we add? And that's been a really good experience and it's been a really good trip to have all players in a different country, in a different methodology, in a different language, training with peers of their age and stage, and that we come back, we reflect on it, and now the next one is coming. So we will have another player exchange in February, March. Internally, our processes becoming more and more innovative. We want to be a data-driven modern academy that produce players. So that innovative is something that's a continuous thing. It's in the heart of everything what we do. So no, it's been really good, and there's much more to come also on the back of that.
Yeah, just lastly, this week obviously marks the start of Zurab's spell as as head of academy football. How excited are you to work closely alongside him going forward?
Yeah, also massively. It was a long, strong recruitment process. I think it really helped the involvement of our CEO, of James, Director of Football Operations, Craig. It was something that was already long for a long time because we wanted to have it right. We're here for the long term. That's player development. It's never a short-term project. So we want to make sure that we have the right people in place. And I also spoke about this before. Actually, you can make it really as simple as this: is we want to have the best players in the best environment with the best people. So when we speak about people, that's when Zurab came on our radar and said, okay, Zurab is now going to influence our football development program and bring that to the next level. Again, I think we're in a good place. But his experience, his background, double pass, Leuven, working with the interim first team manager with OHL Leuven, will help us to go to the next level again. He's already been on the grass, he's been on a tournament, he's been fast-paced for him also, but he's excited and so are we.